Hello and welcome, budbrew.com here, recording an updated deck tech slash primer for my brew, which is Abzan Fauna or Abzan Melira, whichever way you want to call it, Abzan Podless Pod or whatever. Basically it's a deck that incorporates two combos. It's the Melira the Silver Nowcast package and Archangel Foon plus Spike Figure combos, and then a lot of disruption, tutoring, and some hate bears in the deck. The mana base is quite straightforward, so it's one plains, one basic swamp, 3 forest, because you have a lot of mana dorks, and that's how you normally start your first turn. You fetch for a forest and then play a bird or noble hierarch. Then full set of Verdant Catacombs, which is the best fetch land in the deck, because all your 1-drops is Fallout Caesar, Inquisition, Kozilek, or Mana Dorks, or Cersei, so it's all like black or green. And then the deck before cons used to just play 3 Misty Rainforests as a complementary fetches 1 to 7. Or 1 to 8, 5th to 8 fetch land. But now you can play all on color fetches, and I chose 2 green-white ones, the 2 Windswept Hits and 1 Marsh Flats. You don't want too many non-green fetches, well, the fetches which cannot tutor you basic forest. The deck is quite color intensive on green, so you want everything to get you green, well, almost all of the mana sources, so only 1 Marsh Flats and 2 Heaves. And it's all because that sometimes you do want some fetch to get you your black or white in terms of basics, because of blood moons, or so I like this balance. It could be 3 green-white fetches, of course, but this gives it more diversity, and each of the fetches still get you whatever shockland you need. And because there is no green-black fastlands or even black-white, so you have only the Razor Bear's Thickets as the green-white duels, which are non-shocks. So you play 3 of those. 4 is a bit too much maybe, because you don't want those situational tap lands for sure. Shocks you can at least like always pay 2 life and get untapped, and that's why you play more of the overgrown tombs. Green-black sources are super important, and as I said, there is only 1 fast land in our colors. So I had to play 3 off overgrown catacombs, and then of course 1 of each other color combination, 1 godly shrine and 1 temple garden. With 7 fetches you don't really need more shocks, so you can always get whatever mana color you need. And then of course 3 Gallon Township. It's a bit harsh in this deck, which is so color intensive, especially with the deck running 3 Corda Callings. But Gavany Township has won me so many games which were otherwise really unwinnable, just by drawing it and pumping your team for a couple of turns or something like that. And those lands do tend to be destroyed via Ghost Quarters and Tectonic Edges, and there are quite a few decks which run some of those lands, and plus there is always the opposing Fulminator Mages out of the sideboard, or even sometimes Maindeck from the Living End deck, which is actually not that great of a matchup, but that situation still would probably come up quite a few times. So our 1-drops is of course 3 Nobles and 4 Birds. 4 Birds simply because you want access to all your colors, and Noble doesn't fix all of your colors. some builds play all 8 mana dorks, but I find it's like a bit so redundant against decks with things like Electrolyze or Breath of God effects, so it's not so great to have too many of them. And I used to have one of Wellfruits in here, but I found it's like to be kinda clunky. It's always good against opposing Tarmogoyfs and Tassigurs and Siege Rhinos, but I found it so redundant way too many times, so I cut it off. I might go back to it, but so far I'm not super impressed with the cards, even though on paper it looks so amazing, especially with cards calling in the deck once again, so speeding up that stuff. But you barely ever want to tutor for Wellfruits. Although if all those mid-range creatures are gonna continue be a powerhouse in this metagame, so alright, our 2-drops, we have a pretty great selection of them. Of course, the engine of the deck, 4 of Fauna Shamans. Some decks play 4 of Collected Company and Steel Chords, and maybe 1 of a Congregation of Dawn. But I like this tutor because it tutors you up anything. It's still a creature, it can beat down and so on. It has a big target, they have to kill it. And it's actually a fast tutor, just for 1 mana tutor for anything. Sometimes you're so short on mana, and then you tutor up like for 1 mana, get a Visceraseer and get combo off or something like that. The fact that it's cheap engine and it's also a creature, like, it's a sweet spot. Because the deck is shaped up in such a way that you always want to get exactly the creature you need. That's why I think Fauna Shaman is good, but the builds which are relying more on value and getting out Tarmogoyfs and getting out some value creatures may want to just run Collected Company instead, and that's the right direction for them. But in this build, which is so focused on getting specific piece, Fauna Shaman is better. If you would want to put Collected Company, the card from the new set, which for 4 mana at instant speed, you look at top 4, I believe, and then put into play 2 creatures with cost 3 or less. So if your deck is less reliant on combo, or it has multiple pieces of the combo, then you probably want that card in the deck over Fauna Shaman. But if you want to be more interactive, more disruptive, more relying on tutoring the right hate bears, I guess that's where you want to be. Because it's a reliant engine, even though it's so vulnerable to bolts and everything. But you do have some protection for it, and you do get ways to get back your Fauna Shamans. And of course, like 3 of Voice of Resurgence, great card against all the blue decks with all the instances and flash cards and so on. And because you're essentially a creature deck, it's one of the essential pieces. Basically, if you're in green-white colors and you're a creature deck, you pretty much have to run the Deers. And our tutor targets, so 1 of Scoundrels, just a great utility card. Quasi-Leopard Mage is a main deck answer to all the artifacts and enchantments. Like, for instance, Splinter Twin and so on. 1 spell sky to protect the combos, and of course 1 of Melira Silver Outcast as a combo piece. Oh yeah, switched off too quickly, so there was 1 drop, so 2 of like Inquisition of Kozilek and 2 Thoughtseize and 1 Visceraseer as a combo piece for the Melira package. Diversification between Inquisition and Thoughtseize, instead of just running 4 Thoughtseize, was the fact that like Burn is a one of the best decks in modern format right now, and you don't want to take too much damage. And of course you can put in additional copies of Thoughtseize or Durus into the deck, and then kind of complement the package. But for main deck I feel like it's fine, and I can't really run more than 4 in the main deck, So that it is, and then only one Viscera because we're more of a just toolbox deck instead of getting the combo reliably, because I found out that most of the time you can't get the combo out. They have so much disruption, or the matchup is so fast if you're playing against some very quick combo deck. So a lot of the times you have to go for the hate PCs or something like that, especially in games 2 and 3. In game 1, most of the time you have to go for a combo as quick as you can, but still you need to keep in mind that can they actually win quicker than you. And then again, the collected company build is way less interactive than us in game 1, because they play the discard spells and the decays on the sideboards, and so in addition to 4 one-man discard spells, they have also 3 abrupt decays main deck, so that helps a lot in many matchups. Decay is just one of the best cards in Modern. Of course, against a lot of decks it could sometimes be a blank, but even against Tron decks you could sometimes, if they tap out, kill a map or a Oblivion Stone if they don't have mana to activate those. So it is quite good, and Tarmogoyfs are everywhere and so on, and a lot of other cards. And moving on to 3 drops first. So one of Order of Pontiff in the previous deck tech video for this deck, I think I mentioned all of the pluses and minuses of this card in the main deck. It's good against Affinity, it's good against Tween, it's good against kind of mirror matches because they play set of Lingering Souls. It's fine against a lot of other decks, it's fine against Boggles sometimes, if they don't get an enchantment yet on the creature, because all the hexproof guys are 1/1s. And then it's fine against Infect as well, so it is pretty good, and you can randomly pump your team with it to kind of go into the beatdown mode. Then of course one of the Kitchen Things as a combo piece, one of the Spy Feeder as a combo piece with the Archangel, one of the Internal Witness to get back whatever you want, including your DKs and Thoughtseizes and so on. And then 4 drops, of course Ratcap as a combo piece. It's awesome, like, to kill so many things. It's not a great main deck card, but still it's a combo piece, and as one of it's alright. And quite a few times you would probably keep it against Burn, because you don't take damage and kill like a Goblin Guide or Eidolon of Great Revel, or against some blue mid-range decks, including some twin decks. It's a way to kill Sower of Temptation, a tutorable way to kill Sower of Temptation, or Cliques or Snapcasters and so on. If they have to bounce it, it's pretty sad, or remand it, so it's actually a card that you probably keep in those matchups. And then in new addition, one of Restoration Angel. I used to run like one of World Fruits in here, but now I'm gonna try out one of Restoration Angel. We don't have that many things to reset, like just our 3 drops, Rat Cap or something like that, or maybe Blink, Revel Arc. So unlike many builds with a lot of Kitchen Things and things of that nature, there are not that many things to reset. But the reason why I want to try it out, because I don't want to run a second Spellskite main deck, I run a second one in the sideboard. It's kind of acting as a Spellskite. You can tutor it up at instant speed with either Fauna Shaman or Cord, and let's say just keep your Fauna Shaman untapped with mana up on their turn, and then if they go for it with the DKers or Bolt, in response you can 1 mana tutor for it, and then if you have enough mana, cast it, Blink Fauna Shaman. So kind of instant speed tutor ball Spellskite or something like that, and all around good value creature. I'm not sure, maybe it's correct to have both Fall Fruits and Restoration Angel in the deck, but I do feel like I want to have a one Rest Angel somewhere in my deck, and probably main deck, because it's just much better in game ones, I feel like, over second spells kites, and it's fine to run like only one off of everything because you have 7 tutors in the deck to get whatever you want. Right, and then, so of course, 3 of Choreo Callings, which are excellent against a lot of decks. At instant speed you can get Spells Kites to disrupt, or Quasi-Leopard Mage to disrupt, or instant speed, Orgev Pontiff, like to nuke their board of Lingering Souls tokens, or just get a combo piece. And I love to have some instant spells in this deck, because then you can play a much more kind of great mix of proactive / reactive game. When you just play out your stuff, half of it they have to respond to respect you having some other things. It's kind of nice to have a good number of cards that you can play or activate at instant speed, especially against Splinter Twin, because you just play an early voice and then they have to do something about it, or you produce tokens and then they tap out on their turn, then you can end the turn Chord the Calling for a combo piece, or if they go for the combo, when they are kind of forced to do that because you have some early pressure in play, and then you just go for Chord the Calling Spells Kites and really fizzle their plans. And of course 2 5 drops Archangel, which is a combo piece, and then Revelark bringing whatever is missing, and Revelark is pretty sweet, like with Fauna Shamans, because you can get them back if they kill it, or you get back Spike Feeder if they kill it. So Revelark is one of the staples of this kind of archetype, and it does work well with the Fauna Shamans. Of course we all would be missing Bourbon Pod. Well, at least I will do, and a great amount of players will do. It was really weird, but of course some people would say that, yeah, it was probably correct to ban it. What was it now? Like a couple of months ago already? But yeah, things could happen. Okay guys, so I would be moving on to the sideboards updates shortly after this. I hope you enjoy this, and in the comments below try to ping me on what I could do better with this deck, whether you like the Collected Company version more or this one seems more appealing to you. Yeah, don't forget to subscribe and leave me any comments on how can I tune this deck even better. Cheers.